What do you admire most about yourself? It may be a physical feature, a personality characteristic, or an accomplishment. But it's likely that you're only willing to honor parts of yourself and that you try to ignore those other aspects that you don't find so appealing. You may feel that you need to express uber masculinity or ultra femininity if you're going to be accepted by society. But that viewpoint may leave you feeling as though you're only partially acceptable. It can be really difficult to feel good about yourself, to feel secure with who you are and make the most of your life when you're only able to honor half of all that you are. Welcome, everyone. It's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer, here with you on Angel Heart Radio to celebrate Father's Day. And if you're ready to become the best version of yourself, then stay with me. When we come back, we're going to discover how to fully express the divine masculine and feminine within each one of us.
Angel Heart Radio programs should not be used to replace your legal or medical advice, nor your own sound judgment. In truth, nothing can dim your magnificence. You are a divine spark, a universal light. You are here on purpose. You are part of a divine plan, and it's our joy to support you. We're here to celebrate you. Welcome to Angel Heart Radio. Powered by love, Angel Heart Radio is brought to you by AngelLight777.com. Great news, everyone. Angel Heart Radio is now live streaming on our Facebook page, and we have a fully searchable, brilliant podcast platform for you at AngelHeartListen.com. Put the power of the spiritual realm to work in your life with Marcia Martin on Angel Heart Radio starts now.
So here we are at Father's. Big thank you to all of those men who have truly picked up the mantle of fatherhood and understand what an important role it is. But I really feel that it is so important that we as a society understand that no matter what gender you have chosen to be in this lifetime, you cannot divorce yourself from the other side that you have not chosen to represent in a physical body. So if you are a father, if you're a male, or if you're a mother, if you're female, you are still going to have either feminine or masculine characteristics that need to be honored, because each one of us is on a journey to completion, and you cannot be complete if you're only willing to honor half of all that you are. Now, you hear me say many times, you're perfect wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you are. And you might be thinking, okay, well, if I'm perfect, then why do I have to continue to improve? So let's make that really clear, that I am not changing today my stance that you are perfect no matter what you may be saying, thinking, or doing. You are still perfect for the moment in which you are occupying. However, we came to grow. The whole reason that we agree to life journeys is to experience accelerated growth. When we're in the energetic realm, things are so easy. Manifestation is instantaneous, and there is nothing to push against. So growth happens exceedingly slowly. So we get excited about having a physical life journey, and we say to ourselves, okay, I can't wait I'm going to sign up for all of these different challenges. And then we pick a particular gender to experience. But that doesn't mean that the one that we haven't chosen, if we've chosen male, it doesn't mean that the female should be completely ignored. So you are perfect for whatever gender you have chosen and for whatever moment in which you are living. But the goal of the journey is to become complete, and you only become complete when you are more like God. So that means that we are constantly growing and adding to all that we are. We're exploring, we're gaining new experiences and new knowledge, and we are not allowing ourselves to stay as small as we were in the previous moment. Every moment that we are awake and aware, we're adding to our completion. So you may have been perfect in that moment that you were just living, but as if you were to try to hold yourself in that same place and go through your life without growing in any way, you would no longer be perfect because the moment had passed and you needed to be a new person, a different person. So let's take a look at what makes up the perfect person in every moment, no matter what gender you may have assigned to yourself in this lifetime, even if you have chosen to change genders once you get here. Everything that contributes to your growth is beneficial. Remember, in the energetic realm, all things are merely seen as an experiment. Now, you can go too far with any experiment. You can cause yourself harm or cause harm to other people. And then you need to pull back and undo the damage that you've done. But everything is open for exploration and for learning. So let's really remember to stay out of judgment and into acceptance. Use the measuring stick of, does this feel good to my heart? Does this feel as though it is addressing the highest good? Or am I in judgment and causing hurt or harm to myself or another person? So how can you take what you already are and enhance it so that you can feel good about you? So often I talk to people in my practice and they just don't feel good about who they are. And that is such a discouraging thing for me to hear, because the person that I'm talking with is an incredible being that just doesn't recognize their magnificence. So we must always remember that when we are in a physical body, stop looking outside yourself for how you can change others. We have no authority over another. The only exception is that parents have some authority over their children when they're young and they cannot do for themselves. But you really cannot change another person unless they agree and they do the work themselves. Nothing is going to change that person. What you will do possibly is change your own opinion about that person. And the other thing to remember is you cannot sacrifice enough to make someone else better. And it doesn't matter what condition they may be suffering with. It is not possible for you to go low enough so that they can go high. If they don't want to go high, it won't ever make a difference. So because this is Father's Day, let's take a look at the ego's version of what it's like to be masculine, and then God's ideal of the masculine role in society, so that you can understand and see why it's so important that you allow both sides of yourself to integrate, no matter what your gender is. In a perfect world, the masculine and the feminine are perfectly balanced and they support each other, so that each aspect is capable of experiencing life to their fullest. There is no authoritarian behavior if you're a male, or superior thinking. And at the same time, there is no obsequiousness if you are a female, or believing that you are less than. So, as a male growing up in society, you may have been told that it's okay for you to be aggressive, that somehow proves that you're very masculine. And you may be encouraged to be loud and sometimes bordering on obnoxious. Perhaps you've been told it's okay to be overbearing, to exert your will on other people, because that really makes you a man. Some men have been told they should be rude and always in charge. They may have been told they were handsome, but never pretty. They may have been encouraged to be dominant, authoritative, never to be questioned, and to become quite angry if they are questioned. They may have been conditioned to believe that they are to be the boss, stoic, and superior. Now, there will be people that should be leaders, that should be the boss, should be in charge, because that's their purpose. They have come with the ability to be compassionate, wonderful leaders. They are able to see the big picture and to guide people in a direction that is best for all concerned. But they will not be rude, overbearing, boorish, or have a superior attitude. That is not the description of a good leader. And society may be telling boys, hey, you better man up, don't cry, suck it up. In short, society may hide everything but your superior authority. Society, don't show them, don't let them see you sweat, don't let anybody see that you're having any kind of a difficulty. Just be superior, stiff upper lip, show them that you're in charge. And if you're ever questioned, deny all allegations of weakness. That's the ego understanding of what it's like to be masculine. But remember, the ego lives in a constant state of threat. The ego believes that it must be superior in order to be seen or heard, or that it must be different, or that it must be in charge, or that it must hurt others. There are many, many ways in which the ego gets confused. And so the ego, when it's directing your footsteps, will lead you in a direction that is not going to feel good to you and won't feel good to the people that are around you. The ego may insist that if you show your feelings, that you are somehow less than all of the other male children in the room. And the ego may be encouraging you to do whatever you have to do to win, because winning is what matters. You're better than the others, and you deserve to be respected. This is not the way that we walk when we are in line with our divinity, and each person is divine. But when you are in touch with your divine masculine side, you will not feel the need to exert authority for no reason. If there's a crisis and you can step up and be the leader, why then please go ahead and be the authority, because you have the knowledge that will protect people. That is not the way that you need to operate on a daily basis. Now, most men are kind and loving, and they really do seek to support, to guide, and to protect those under their care. They are men to be admired. But they became that way kind of because they rejected a lot of what society taught them. And they may have even had to face ridicule because they are more heart-centered and less egocentric. So if you have a man in your life that has chosen to be kind, loving, and supportive, please make sure they understand how much you respect and admire them for that choice. One of the ways in which we can love the men in our lives from birth to death is to encourage their heart. Encourage them to see all of the aspects of themselves, all of the aspects that they are. So this means that they should be allowed to show feelings. They should be allowed to cry if they need to. They should be allowed to express whatever it is they're feeling without any kind of censure. And if they don't want to be in a leadership position because that doesn't work with their personality, then they don't have to be in a leadership position. Not every man to be out in front. Now, let's take a look at all of the divine masculine qualities and understand that whether you have chosen to be male or female in this life, you will be best served if you incorporate these characteristics within yourself. Because the two, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, cannot work separately. They can only work together for an optimal life experience. If you're going to be in alignment with the divine, perfectly balanced, then you must acknowledge both aspects of yourself. So, looking from the divine masculine perspective, we see strength. And that strength can be used for the benefit of the self and for all others. Supportive. I want us to think of the divine masculine as though you're building a house, and the divine feminine as though it's the contents of the house. Now, it's lovely to go pick out beautiful paintings and furniture and to fill that house full of things that express your inner world. But if you don't have a solid foundation and a solid structure upon which you can build that inner world, you will start coming unhinged. It's impossible to have good mental health if you don't have a strong personal foundation. You cannot be looking for it in a partner. You must first find it within yourself. So, begin cultivating the divine masculine qualities within yourself. We already talked about strong and supportive, but also resilience. You do not have to fall apart anytime something doesn't go the way you think it should. Call on your angels. Learn to use the energetic realm as your support system. And do the work to clear and heal your heart so that you are not responding to past trauma, but that you are clear and focused and able to respond to what is right in front of you instead of what may have happened to you 20 years ago. Learn God-centered resilience. Also, as a divine masculine being, you would be powerful. When you align with the divine, when you begin interacting with the energetic realm, you automatically strengthen your spiritual signal, and you're able then to broadcast that signal further out into the world so that you become better at manifesting and at protecting yourself and at creating a life that feels good. You can also be a leader, but remember, this does not mean that you've got to go out and lead a group of 1 million people. You lead yourself. You create the structure within yourself so that you adhere to a daily meditation practice, and you are your own best support system. You would also be a protector. Now, this particularly for empaths, you've got to understand, no one can protect you from other people's vibration like yourself. If you are not shielding, if you've not done the work to clear and heal your heart, you are making yourself vulnerable and allowing yourself to be wide open to whomever is sending out signals of chaos or anger or revenge or regret or any negativity. Be your own best protector. Provide the structure. Be responsible. Be reliable. Be wise, because you have connected with the energetic realm and you have given yourself a pathway to connect to the divine wisdom that's available to all of us who are willing to seek it. And be fearless. Not foolish, but fearless. So if something comes up that appears to be bigger, stronger, or something that you don't feel qualified to handle, instead of running away, you will go within and ask God for direction. Your life is not going to be fulfilling if you are always looking for someone else to do it for you. Be your own best support structure. Be the framework of your house. If you have a solid framework upon which you've built your life, you know that those floors that you're walking upon can support you. You know that the foundational beliefs that you are allowing to be part of your makeup are really based in truth and not a lot of fear or conjecture or rumor or just fear-based thinking. You've really done what's necessary in order to find out what's best for you. If we're looking at the divine masculine in terms of how it is applied in the universe by God, you would see that all of these things that we take for granted are the divine masculine in action. So we live on a planet that spins on an axis in one direction only. Because it spins in one direction, we know that the sun is going to appear to rise every morning and set every evening. We know what the seasons of the year are going to be like according to where we have chosen to live in this world. And because of that, we are able to regulate our lives. We have laws in place, natural laws that allow us to make decisions based on those laws that are not going to change. We don't wake up one day and it's all dark for, well, I guess if you live in Alaska, but then even if you live in Alaska, you're prepared. It's not that we wake up on Tuesday and it's dark, and on Wednesday it's light, and on Thursday it's halfway, and on Friday it never gets dark. We know that day after day there's going to be some regularity, some schedule that we can plan our life around. Just look at how much we've all become discombobulated with this coronavirus pandemic. All of our schedules have been completely changed around, and it took us quite some time to get in any kind of functional state. So it's very important that we have this structure, this divine masculine, which is represented by the universal laws, in place so that we know how we can build our life upon those laws. And that's why it's so important to remember that law of attraction is not going to work for one person and not the other person. Now, you may tell yourself, oh, law of attraction doesn't work for me. I just keep attracting more and more things that I don't want. Law of attraction is working perfectly. You're the one that is broken. Now, that sounds mean, but the law of attraction is never going to change. It is going to continue to attract to you whatever thoughts you are giving your attention and your energy to. When you attach emotion, which is the divine feminine, so divine masculine in this case is, these are my thoughts, these are what I consider important, they're the structure. One leg of the ladder. Now here comes divine feminine. Oh, I'm going to get really involved with these thoughts. I'm going to get so wrapped up and so emotionally tied in these thoughts, I'm going to make them even more powerful and creative. And law of attraction says, thank you very much for magnetizing your thoughts. Let me get busy delivering your order. If you want a different result, you must place a different order. So if you see that you're attracting everything that you don't want, you need to look at what you're thinking and feeling and change that. Now, it may not be possible if you are dealing with a lot of trauma for you to have better feeling thoughts with the trauma still active. Do the work to clear and heal your heart. Get in there and start forgiving yourself for whatever it is that you are blaming yourself, and just let it go. God's perspective is that you are perfect. But God's perspective is also that they are able to see the big picture and they expect you to grow. So don't waste these opportunities. Take advantage of the divine masculine order, the seasons, the rotation of the earth, the predictability, the laws that are in place for you, that structure that you can build your life upon so that you don't have chaos. And then, from that place of structure, begin the expansion that this foundation that you've created for yourself allows you to honor. The divine masculine is always going to be powerful framework, but it can't be confused with the ego's version of masculine. So divine masculine is not going to be superior, it will be supportive. So now let's take a look at what the divine feminine is doing for you, and then how you can marry them both together so that you present to the world and you are putting out the energy of balance so that you will then manifest through law of attraction those things that are most desired. We got to understand, God doesn't play favorites. Only the ego would tell you God likes males better than females, or God likes females better than males. God understands the value of each and also understands that one is not complete the other. If you find that you are riding a seesaw and you're heavily one way or the other, do your best to get back into balance. That's the ideal. The ideal is that you are balanced and you can call on both equally as you need to, but you don't view either one as superior. Now, this doesn't mean that if you have chosen to be in a male body, that I am suggesting that now you have to start wearing a dress. That has nothing to do with your divine feminine, or that women can only dress in pants, or they have to own their own corporations. This is the ego, again, getting in there and playing games. No, I am just saying, if you want to be in balance, you will learn to use all of yourself and all of your strengths instead of leaning too heavily on one or the other. So just for fun, like we did with the male side, let's look at society's view of the female. Now, perhaps I know this side a little better, having spent this lifetime as a female. So I know that I was taught that I should be subservient, dainty, a helpmate. I had to consider myself less than. I may have been called pretty. I was definitely the caretaker, often considered weaker, ornamental, had to be patient, ladylike, and quiet, probably fragile, and most likely helpless. Childbirth can cause some of the most excruciating pain on the planet. But until the day of delivery, women are told they're weak. On the day of delivery, they're told, stay strong. Now, if that's not an oxymoron, I don't know what is. However, it's just an indicator of our society being out of balance. Women are raised to be the back seat of the partnership, the dependent one, and the one who always acquiesces. This is not healthy for the men or for the women. Boys who show their feminine side are considered less than optimal, and girls who show their masculine side are told they are unladylike. And both of those energies are mocked. And in my practice, I have worked with people who have been mocked, and it is such a debilitating energy. So let us be so careful moving forward from this day that we do not inadvertently heap shame upon our children or label them in any way, no matter how they choose to express themselves. As long as it's loving, it should be respected. If a child is hurting another person or themselves, it's a cry for help. Get them the help they need. But the shaming, the blaming, the sarcasm, that is not good parenting, and that is not being an enlightened adult. So let us, from this day forward, do our best to become perfectly realized people, which means that we're going to have to really be conscious about pulling in both our masculine and feminine sides. So women, I'm going to challenge you. When you think you can't do it with a job that has been assigned to men over your lifetime, ask yourself, would I feel good if I did this? And if you would, go ahead and do it. Men, same for you. If you feel that you would be ridiculed or thought less of because you are doing a job that has been assigned to women in this lifetime, but you think it would feel good to you, you have a natural affinity to that, go ahead and do it. You will do it better than anyone else. Let's stop assigning roles to people based on whether they have chosen to be male or female, and instead, let's start assigning jobs to people who can do them well. That should be our new criteria. Do you want to do this job? Are you qualified to do this job? Here you go. Do it to the best of your ability. Instead of, oh, stay in your lane. No, I want you to stay in the lane that feels best to your heart, not in the one that society has dictated is where you should be. So we're back in our house. The divine masculine has provided this brilliant structure for us. We know that those walls are solid as can be. The floor is so strong. We can jump up and down on it or place heavy furniture on it. The roof is going to keep out the rain. So what should our divine feminine side bring to the house? The contents of the house are the creation. What comes as a result of this structure can be assigned to the divine feminine. The feminine expands on the safety and the structure that is already there. Our feminine side is to give birth to our creativity. And there is absolutely no one alive today that is not creative. That doesn't mean everyone is an artist. Artists are exceedingly creative, but no matter what field you may be in, whether you recognize it or not, you are relying on your creativity and your inspiration in order to do a better job at your job. Let's say I choose to be an engineer. Now, an engineer may appear to be a very straightforward position. I just need to make things that are strong or that are functional. But let's look at some of the incredible inventions that have come forth from within that structure. The telephone, the light bulb, the car. It's amazing how when we allow the function or the structure to be married to the innovation, we get something that is absolutely fabulous. So what we're really saying here is the feminine grows because it has masculine support. If either one of these energies, masculine or feminine, were to try to just like go off on its own, the masculine just tries to stay in its structured place, but brings in no creativity and doesn't use its intuition, then it may become so rigid that it's not able to fully blossom into its fullness. Now, the divine feminine may think, oh, all I have to do is be creative. But it has no structure, and so it just spins off into complete chaos, because something without structure or without a foundation doesn't have any way of mooring itself into usefulness, and it just devolves into crazy. But at the same time, that house without contents is just an abandoned structure. It has no life. So we don't want to be too rigid in our thinking or our approach to life, because then we don't have a life. We also don't want to be too chaotic, because then we will never really accomplish anything with our lives. Thinking back to our house again, household furnishings without a container are exposed to the elements, and they don't last very long. It's easily destroyed. However, that house that is well cared for inside and out can last centuries. That's what you need to think of yourself as. You are the house. This physical body is the house. Perhaps you would call that skeletal system your divine masculine aspect of yourself. Take excellent care of that structure. Be very grateful for the ability of that structure to provide for you in the way that it does. And then you would look at all that you are able to do, the thinking, the writing, the creating, the other aspects of yourself as your divine feminine that are bringing you life to this skeletal structure that, without being able to have places to go and to enjoy the journey, would just exist. So let's take a look at the divine feminine characteristics are, so that you'll be clear about what you want to incorporate in your life. Remember, we want to blend them both together. And as always, I want to make sure that if you have a question about this, you feel free to call in and ask. So our number, hang on, I just turned it over, is 347-202-0232. If you're outside the U.S., you have to add a 1. But if you're confused about how this is going to apply to your life, or if you have any kind of confusion about how you may help your children understand more about themselves, please call in, and together we will visit the energetic realm and get you the answer. So let's look at that divine feminine. So yes, it is the creative aspect of your being, and it takes what's available and makes more. So it's the expansive, it's the creative, the multiplier, the nurturing, guiding, leading, protecting, strengthening, wise, fearless, responsible, and reliable part of yourself. Now, you may notice that many of these characteristics are the same. That's because no matter which aspect of ourselves we are expressing, we must do it with strength and fearlessness. We must be reliable, tap into our innate wisdom, and take responsibility for whatever it is that we are creating. This is not a one day we're going to celebrate the divine feminine and the next day we're going to only concentrate on the divine masculine. That would be the same as if God said, well, today law of attraction is going to work for all the people whose names are from A to M, and tomorrow we'll go N to Z, and then the next day I'll let you know. You cannot live your life if you don't have a good structure upon which you have something to build. It just can't be a bunch of crazy chaos. At the same time, if you are so rigid that you're not willing to expand, to explore, or to look at all that could be, you are going to be disappointed because you're not going to be able to fully experience life. It's got to be a perfect partnership, which means balance. And when we expand this into our partnerships, whether they be intimate or business related or just friendships, you will notice that your friendships, partnerships, and marriages or relationships work better when it's not two people competing for the same piece of pie. If you are an incredibly organized person and you like putting systems into place, but you really are not very creative about how to have fun in your life, partnering with another really organized person is just going to mean that two people who don't know how to have fun are going to have kind of a dull existence. So don't look for somebody that's exactly like you. Look for balance. And you'll be able to recognize the balance because it's going to feel good. It's going to feel really good. Your heart is going to feel like it got support that was missing otherwise. But this is going to happen for you more easily if you've already done the work for yourself that will allow you to be in really good balance personally. So the more that you have done to clear yourself from all of your limiting beliefs and all of that negative thinking and align yourself with the divine, the more easily you will attract to yourself someone who exhibits qualities that are not your strong suit. Because even though balance is perfect, none of us are so complete that we don't need that extra support. If we were that complete, we probably would not be here on the life journey. Because that journey, remember, is all about exploration. So here's something that I want you to practice during the week, just to get yourself more in alignment with all that you can be. I want you to make a list of your divine masculine qualities. You're going to note all of those things that you do well. Then you're going to make a list of those things that need work. And what you're going to do with this is you're going to commit to building up any of the qualities that you feel are not as optimal as they could be. And the way that you're going to do that is that you are going to be exceedingly grateful and excited and delighted by everything that you do well, so that you'll have the oomph to do some work on those parts of you that are lagging. If we spend all of our time looking at what we don't do well, we'll get so discouraged that we won't want to do anything. So once you've made your list for your divine masculine qualities, always put the positive first. Then make that same list for your divine feminine qualities. What you do well, what you need work on, and then making a commitment to yourself to really respect and do whatever you need to do to bring these qualities into your life or to make them more accessible so that you become the most well-rounded being that you could be. Not because that's the only way that you're going to attract a romantic partner or a business partner or friends, but because that's going to feel good to you. What will come as a result of this is that you will be able to attract a good romantic partner, business partner, friendships, because the more that you love you, the more that you accept you, the more that you're giving law of attraction permission to bring you what you want, the more you are actively participating, drawing to you all those things that feel good instead of moaning about all of those things that feel kind of icky. Now, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, they're not polar opposites. They're complements. So you don't have to go one way or the other. You don't have to suppress one and highlight the other. If you're working on a particular divine masculine quality, let's say being a better support to yourself, not looking for others to support you, that doesn't mean that you have to completely wipe out the desire to be guiding, which is more of a divine feminine in many respects. Masculine is often the leadership role. Women are often good at just guiding. So it's not one or the other. It is, what can I do to bring these aspects of myself together so that I present to the world and to the divine this more complete version of myself that will attract to me more things that feel good and that are desired. One of the signs of a person who is holding their alignment with regularity is great peace, great joy, just able to take any experience and find something wonderful within it. So we're not going to try to suppress one and highlight the other. Instead, you just sit back and you relax and review all that you are. You take a look at any of those characteristics that you think, I really have started to let others make decisions for me, or instead of being nurturing, I've sort of been overbearing. I need to pull back on that and recognize that I can give other people, I can allow them to have a voice as well. It doesn't detract from who I am, because it's not a fight for superiority. It's an opportunity to live without chaos and confusion. But you're only going to get there if you stop denying any aspects of yourself and you start looking for ways to seamlessly blend both of these sides, and that you honor all that you are. Neither is superior. Both are essential, and both deserve to be honored for all that they are. So men, please don't leave your feminine side out in the cold. And women, don't bar the door against your masculine qualities. We need them both. You will, I was going to say love yourself more, but I think you're going to admire yourself more when you allow yourself to seamlessly blend both halves and understand that we're all works in progress. So you're not always going to be able to do it perfectly. That's okay. Take the way that you are doing it and be so appreciative of being able to do it at all, and that will give you the incentive to keep going. So happy Father's Day, everyone. For those of you who are being incredibly supportive fathers, thank you. And for those of you who are struggling to be fathers, I hope this helped you learn how you can open up to more divine wisdom and guidance so that you can become the father that you truly long to be. We need powerful men in the world who are in touch with their divine feminine. And women, we need powerful women in the world who are in touch with their divine masculine, but at the same time not denying their femininity. Remember, it's a complete house. Requires both the structure, the walls, the floors, the roof, and the contents, the inspiration, the creativity. So I want to thank each and every one of you for sharing today with me. If you feel that you are looking for guidance or you want to speak with the angels personally, please feel free to visit me on my website. It's marciamartinthehearthealer.com. That's Marcia spelled Marcia or mmhearthealer.com. You will find on that website lots and lots of free resources. You can read my blog. You can go to my YouTube channel, same name, Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer. Or you can sign up to work with me personally or to join my community where you will be supported with more in-depth material. Whatever feels good to you is what I want you to receive. But until next week, just remember that you are not alone. The angels are always with you, and I'm sending you all my love.
You've been listening to another fabulous program on Angel Heart Radio. Our goal is to remind you of how much you matter in the world and to let you know that we appreciate who you are in the world. You can check out who's on, when we're on, and who our guests are at angelheartradio.com. Everything is there. It's all just one click away. Angel Heart Radio programs are powerful tools to help you in your life and your life experience. They are not intended, nor should they, be used to replace your medical or legal advice. The views expressed by hosts, co-hosts, callers, guests, and associates should not be construed as advice from Angel Heart Radio.